Hello everybody, my name is Jennifer Ropero. I'm talking about logical fallacy. A logical fallacy is a statement that seems to be true until apply the rules of logic. Then you realize that it isn't no. Logical fallacy can be often be used to mislead people, to trick them into believing something they otherwise wouldn't. If you are taken in by a logical fallacy, false conclusion might cause you to make decisions that you later regret. And using logical fallacy in your own arguments can make you look gullible or uninformed. Worse still, it can make you seem dishonest. Now, let's get to know 10 types of logical fallacy in social networks. Circular reasoning occurs when the end of an argument comes back to beginning without having proven itself. In this case, we see that the author refers to academics who have a high IQ because in order to enter this institution they must obtain an IQ test. The next logical fallacy that often affects our ability to discuss and debate well is the good straw man. This is when someone changes, twists, contours, or misrepresents the original argument to make it easier to attack. This is often done deliberately by others when they feel the argument isn't going to their way. Rather than concede or admit defeat, they will instead change your argument to distract or just confuse the other side. This twist is a straw man because it doesn't represent the Democrats' real argument that there should be a maximum limit on the number of migrants in detention. Instead, it makes a strawman argument that the Democrats don't want to detain or send back any migrants who commit crimes and that Democrats don't care. Hasty generalizations are common in arguments because there's a wide range of what's acceptable for sufficient evidence. The rules for evidence can change based on the claim you are making and the environment we are making it. In this tweet, to deduce that because of basing children may have autism without sufficient evidence is clearly a hasty generalization. Slipper slow fallacy. This logical fallacy occurs when someone argues without providing adequate evidence that a certain action or proposition will lead to an undesirable outcome via a series of events. In this example, we see that the action of the character that the author refers to doesn't not take action but can lead to a certain act. The false economy fallacy depends on an either or arguments. You provide only two options and force people to choose between them. In fact, neither choice may be the best and there may be many other options available. But the argument makes it look like the suggested option is the only foreseeable one. Ad hominem and ad hominem fallacy use personal attack rather than logic. This fallacy occurs when someone rejects or criticizes another point of view based on personal characteristics, ethnic background, physical appearance, or other non-relevant traits of the person who holds it. For example, this is an ad hominem Donald Trump retweet and an insult directed at Hillary Clinton regarding her inability to satisfy her husband and compares it to how she won't be able to satisfy America. This reason that this is an ad hominem attack because it's an insult toward Hillary Clinton as a person. Appeal to emotion. This fallacy occurs when one uses emotional appeals to support a claim instead of using relevant facts and logic. The emotional fallacy, also known as appealing to one's emotion, is the manipulation of emotion without any regard to acceptable arguments. In this example, they use the feeling of guilt for us not being hungry or having already consumed something, as well as using a photo of a malnourished looking child to make their message more effective. Bandwagon appeal. This logical fallacy occurs when one assumes that something must be true or good based on the fact that it is popular. The idea of the bandwagon appeal is to make people feel they are missing out or falling behind if they don't join the crowd of the be a part of trend. In this example, they use that percentage that vote for that candidate, so that the other people who haven't voted for that candidate do so and become part of it. False analogy. Making inference based on an analogy that is too different from the argument. When a comparison is made between two ideas or objects that seemingly have a similar characteristic, but the comparison doesn't hold up. The characteristic of the two things actually differ in the area that is being compared. The following video argues about tracking people infected with COVID, compares it also to obesity, which are deadly diseases, and we don't track obesity by contact, so we shouldn't track COVID either.
Michael Bloomberg is going to handle the tracing army of tracers in New York. We learned today from Cuomo.
That's totally ridiculous.
Army of tracers.
Then we should trace everybody for cancer.
Yeah, army of tracers.
We should trace everybody for cancer and heart disease and obesity, and I mean a lot of things kill you more than COVID-19. So we should be traced for all those things.
Well, there are a lot
life
of people
possesses a certain degree of risk.
Equivocation fallacy. Alternative between the different meanings of a word and argument premise happens when a word, phrase, or sentence is used deliberately to confuse, deceive, or mislead. In other words, saying one thing but mean another. This is an example of equivocation. This means using an ambiguous term in more than one sense, thus making an argument misleading. The boy asks the girl what will she order. The girl wants free chicken. The girl is particularly asking the part of the chicken, not the part of his life.